I see a giant opening. This looks like it is the way. Darboff sends Vin to do some scoping. Vin hits a wall, 'tis a bad day. Maybe there's a clue. Here's what Krill should do. Touch the bad rune, bottom right. A swarm of vice surrounds us after Krill touches the rune. We thought we'd found the way, but now it seems we thought too soon. We'll have to find another door. Luckily there's plenty more. The adventure continues. Do you think there is anything in... would any of these holy weapons, would it be sacrilegious to try and use one of them?
It is an interesting question you posed, Weasel. I have been thinking something similar myself about these weapons. I find it somewhat confusing that these weapons are not made of stone. If these were just there for ceremonial purposes, or they were indicative of the giants themselves, I would have thought that they would have carved them from stone. But the fact that these weapons are made of steel and iron and bone, it's curious. So it makes me think that perhaps someone was intended to carry them at some point. But under what circumstances, I do not know. If you wish for Harshnag to try, I see no reason right now to think that it would be blasphemous for me to hold it. It may be, but I've got no evidence to suggest it would be. So if you wish me to try, I would be more than willing to do this for the greater cause.
Greg, you don't have... I have detect magic. Which would you like to hold, Harshnag?
I am a frost giant. I would only imagine that I would hold Thrym's axe.
Yeah, we'd all like to have a good grab a Thrym's axe, wouldn't we?
Whilst I see many impressive weapons stood before me, it is only the axe I wish to get both of my hands around.
I am going to cast Detect Magic on Thrym's... on everything. Specifically on Thrym's chopper. And I shall walk around the room, and I'm just going to... just because it pings off, doesn't it? So I'm just gonna ping off some Detect Magic. Okay. I'm gonna do it with... That doesn't really matter. I'll just do it with one of my spell slots. So... it tells me any magic and the school of magic, if any.
Yeah. Okay. So you walk around the room, and I mean, I'll be a little bit loose with this because obviously the range is only 30 foot, but these statues are considerably higher than that. So I'll just for the purposes of this whole thing, maybe Harshnag just picks you up almost like a metal detector and just runs you around the room. As you're walking around the room, you pick up quite a lot of bits and bobs of magic, obviously, aside from your various friends. You get some magic off of Harshnag's axe himself, the axe he's wielding. Mm-hmm. Which is not particularly surprising. As you're walking past the archway, you get a sense of magic from the archway itself, or at least the mists. Mm-hmm. You also get six sort of pings, so to speak, from the runes around the thing. Now, give me a second just to see what they would be. So it's not abjuration.
Transmutation.
Possibly. Yeah, I think transmutation. I think is probably the closest thing to it. Which again is probably too surprising given this mystical archway. You get that off of the weapons that are being held by the 5 giants, you don't really get anything magical from them. No, that's a lie. Actually, no, tell a lie. No, you do. You get more transmutational magic off of them. The one thing that is also a little weird, you get just the tiniest, almost remnants, almost like little snifter of divination from Anam's outstretched hand.
Oh, interesting.
Like, almost like remnants of something that may have previously been there rather than something that is currently there.
He was holding something.
An eye that lets you see things.
Sees your dad. Or
like a portal.
And that
scrying stuff.
That is about it in the room that you're currently in.
I.
Roll me an investigation on Dweezil in particular, and I'll give you advantage on it on Anam and this statue.
I'm smashing out the natural 20s tonight. That's 21.
Nice. So you can see that he's outstretched. Now, whilst you've got these 6 giants that are located all around him, and they are sort of like offering out their weapons, almost like a gift to Anam, he's also got his arm and hand outstretched, and his hand is held out open like a palm. And you sort of think, and this palm is pointing towards the archway, and you think the combination of this sort of magic divination that you can pick up and the way that he's stood in combination with how the other 6 are stood, you probably get the sense that there was something held within that hand that isn't currently there.
Do we think that it's like a prism that focuses energy from the weapons or something? It's like a giant laser.
Possibly.
Or does the Anam statue, does it look like it might spin to face the different giants?
Roll me an investigation, Krill. I mean, well, actually, what I'll say is first is has Dweezil relate what he's picked up and thought about this? Yeah. Okay, give me an investigation then, Dweezil. Krill.
I've got such
and indeed anyone else if Krill shares.
Yeah, I mean, I've got such shitty investigation, but yeah, I got a 9, but I want to share the idea with people, but
what do you do?
What do you mean?
Like, are you just looking at the statue, or are you trying to touch it?
I'm gonna try and, with all my strength, try and push the plinth in a way in which it might spin.
Okay, you try and do that. Your strength. Give me a strength roll.
21.
21. Okay. You put all your might into it, and look, this is a stone statue that is, I think 80 foot tall. I think I said. The chances of you moving this was going to be very difficult anyway. But you do that almost sort of like a little bit on a wing and a prayer, hoping that something might happen, but not necessarily expecting anything. But as you do that, as you're sort of pushing it, you sort of suddenly hear above you like a little bit of a rumble, and you look up and you can see off, way up into the distance. You can see just sort of like the slight shivering and shaking of the ceiling, and then like a few pebbles. Actually, probably slightly bigger than pebbles. But you see some stone fall from the ceiling and sort of like crash down into the ground. Nothing that you need to dodge. Nothing, nowhere near you by any means. But there's clearly a reaction to you moving it, or attempting to move it, I should say. You investigate around the statue as part of this, and you can't see any signs that this has been moved or anything like this. You don't think that this is something that spins. You don't think this is certainly not something that even Harshnag probably couldn't move this if it needed to be moved. Like I say, this is 4 times the size of him, made out of pure stone. So you think that despite your nice idea, this is probably not what it's intended to do.
Does anyone else have any suggestions from what we might extrapolate from the...
Yeah. Does his outstretched hand, does it look like it could hold a goat? Have we found
Almost
Sebastian's purpose?
I mean, it's not exactly goat shaped, but you reckon it's big enough that the goat would fit in it nicely.
Let me throw him.
I kind of want to try.
I missed.
No.
Try again. Okay.
Harshnag, I know we said about disrespect and such about the weapons. Would it be disrespectful for me to try and climb Anam?
For what purpose, Krill?
That is really a very good question. Perspective.
I do not think it would be, but if you wish to try, I, as I said when you asked me about the weapons, I do not know what is blasphemous and what is not. I did notice as you were trying to push it that there was stones falling. I would worry of whether there is any traps or anything of you doing such a thing.
Good idea. I'll leave it.
Okay. Anything else? There's
something more, but I just don't know what.
I just don't think we were able to unlock it yet. I think we need to explore further.
Well, I think I've I think I've given you some leads and things that you could.
I think we need to
about.
find a spear to go in the missing.
Yeah, but a fucking giant spear, like
if he's holding something, if he's holding his palm out in a slightly curved fashion, I would hazard a guess that we're looking for something spherical,
like a bum
an
potato.
Orb. An orb, yeah, bum-shaped potato. If we find a way to make the bum-shaped potato bigger, that'll probably do it.
Orbus.
Yeah, orbus.
Okay.
The orb of the All-Father. An eye. One could suggest eyes are spherical. Possibly an eye of the All-Father.
I think it's a crystal ball. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you heading north? Change your mind and heading south? Staying
north.
here and farting?
North.
Heading north?
North,
yeah.
Okay.
No.
Did you want Harshnag to attempt the weapon to help with this, or leave it for the time being?
I think leave it for the time being, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you come back to your original plan, and Quinch uses his power to sort of like heat up the ice, and it doesn't. This is ice that's been here for quite some time, so it's well and truly it's thick. It's very hard. It doesn't melt instantly, but you definitely can tell that you're making some impression upon it. The rest of you chip away at it with your respective weapons and do what you can. And Harshnag does the same with his giant axe. After about 15-20 minutes, you've made enough whereby you don't need to use your weapons, and Harshnag also asks you to step aside, and he starts clawing big chunks of ice away and sort of eventually trying to clear one of these doors. Okay, there are you clear enough space to basically open these two doors. There's a double door either side, not either side, but there's two sets of double doors that lead north. Which are you particularly looking to go through?
I should think top right.
Top right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you manage to you clear away this ice, and Harshnag doesn't even ask this time. He just opens the door on your behalf. Not wishing to feel rude, but clearly these doors are built for giants, and he feels that it's probably appropriate if he takes the lead on that.
Absolutely.
Okie dokie. Beyond, as you open up the doors, you can see you are going back into darkness. So as these doors open, there is light from this room, which sort of managed to cascade somewhat into the room, but it's not long before it just disappears into darkness. And you know that Greg is probably going to have to cast some sort of light spell to help him. There are in this room giant sconces with flames and torches with flames. If you wish, Harshnag could take one of those. Obviously, it would come at a cost of him potentially not being able to fight as effectively as he has up to now, but it might provide you more light as a party if Greg wanted to stay near Harshnag for that additional benefit of doing so.
I would like to do that, please.
Okay, so he takes off one of these torches, and you can see that it gives off quite a lot of light. Given the size of this room, these torches are intended to burn quite brightly. And we will give him, let's say we give him that amount. Okay, so I will move you into the next room. You step through this doorway, and as I say, those of you with dark vision, this is absolutely fine. Quinch, I suspect you might have taken your goggles of night off as you were walking around the other room, but you've just, steampunked them back down across your eyes.
Precisely what I was thinking.
And so for most of you, this lighting situation isn't too bad. For Greg, it is still somewhat problematic. His vision literally ends at a point where it goes into darkness, but he can certainly see more. And as I say, Harshnag is happy to usher you around. To the east of you, there is a large staircase leading up, which is about 20 foot deep in total. And there are again, these stairs are about 5 foot each leading you up. So again, they would be possibly a difficult terrain for you to climb. And you can see in front of you there's a sort of a relatively short hallway which then bends round to the left, and you can tell that there's obviously something around to that side. Do you carry on?
Yeah, I think forward first.
Yeah, check out the room before the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay, so move yourselves forward gingerly. I will move. What I'll do is I'll move Harshnag to, let's say, here, just so Greg can see a little
what's
bit
that?
more. What's what?
Star.
Ooh.
Yeah, we've obviously turned this corner and we can see a star thing in an alcove of sorts. Tell me what we're looking at, mate.
Okie dokie. As you are stood here, standing in an alcove at the southernmost point of the room, is a life-size statue of what appears to be a stone giant, you think, based on your experience. Its arms are lifted, with hands outstretched and palms facing the northwest of the wall. It does stand upon a very small sort of plinth. That star that you can see is essentially a small plinth, but it's not, it's only like 5 foot or something like that.
Sorry, what direction is it facing, did you say, or pointing towards?
North, so up, straight up.
Okay, and from where I'm stood with my dark vision to look north, what would I see?
Okay, with your dark vision, when you look north, you can see that there appears to be some sort of corridor leading upwards. You can just at the outside of your vision, you can see that there appears to be two sort of open doorways as you go into the corridor. There appears to be two open doorways of about 5 foot width either side, almost exactly the same spot. As you're looking around, sort of taking in your surroundings, those of you that maybe have gone a bit further than Krill, you can see actually behind, so sort of almost like in a U from where you started, you can see yet another staircase that leads up. So you get the impression that regardless of which doorway you went through, you would essentially get the same. It's sort of just a mirrored version of itself with these two sort of sets of staircases that are going to lead up. And as I say, to the north of you, you see what at the moment appears to be the lead of the start of a corridor. Or you don't know how far the corridor necessarily goes, but you can see far enough up it that there's at least some part of this is going to be a corridor.
Fair. I think keep going up the corridor.
Okay. You start walking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in north.
Yeah, are you doing this?
Yeah.
Are we gonna start doing some tactical slow approaches, like one in the front, several in the rear, or are we just going for it?
Yeah, I think we should be a little bit more tactical.
Okay.
Okay.
So
you're being a bit more tactical. So what are you doing then?
let's line up, I think.
Yeah, I'll go somewhere in the middle.
I will lead.
Greg's at back, always back.
I'll go second.
Where are we putting Harshnag?
Behind Dweezil. So it goes Krill and Quinch, then Dweezil, then Harshnag. So Dweezil's nicely protected in between two.
Okay.
Two big boys and a bigger boy.
Yeah.
The biggest boy.
Yeah. That'd be ideal,
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. And then I would say Greg in front of Harshnag then, so he's got the light behind him, sort of emanating forwards. Okay, what I'll do is, I know it's not strictly speaking part of the walkway, but if I just move Harshnag back a little bit, and then we can have Greg in here, Dweezil in here, we're saying, and then...
Yeah.
So we're having Harshnag at the back, should we say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harshnag. So the walking order is Krill, Quinch, Dweezil, Daboff, Greg, and then Harshnag at the back.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Right. So walk yourself up just
Okay, given
gradually.
we're in this line, and I can see there's doors to the left
Yeah.
and the right.
So you see these doors, and you look at these, and each of these appears to be a 30-foot tall archway, spaced along each side of these walls, the east, the west walls. You can see within these fairly sparse conditions. Doesn't seem to be much in there. As you move up and you sort of look in, do you want to poke your head in one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll stick my head in one, and you tell me what I see and what I might assume from what I see.
Okay, you look in and you can see this 60-foot square chamber. It is furnished with two frost-covered stone couches, one on either side of the room, which you would probably expect to serve as some sort of bed. These in particular have tattered furs atop them.
Oh.
So it suggests. I mean, it's been some time, perhaps since it's been used, but someone would have used this as a bed.
Given the size, I would assume it's a giant size bed.
I mean, you're in a giant temple. It's a fairly safe assumption to make. I mean, you could easily stretch out on this and have the best sleep you've ever had, and just roll around in bed to your heart's content. But it is very much you get the impression it's designed for giant kind.
I imagine the fact that it's frozen might have an impact on the night's sleep that you have as well.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm very warm when I sleep. I think it'd be all right.
I mean, if at any point your tongue happens to sort of loll out of your mouth and sticks to the ice, I would imagine that would be quite the rude awakening
Okay. As we sort of work our way up the corridor, I'm literally gonna just stick my head in left, right, because I can see there's a couple further up, just at the outline of my light.
Yep.
So I'm going to assume there's another set. So just sticking my head in to the one on the left where we are. Is there anything different to the first?
You see pretty much the same story here. No tattered furs, but it's pretty much the same. These large. It's worth, like I say, these are 60-foot long, large stone couches, so to speak. That are here, that are designed for rest, sleep, whatever it is that giants use when they're here on some sort of pilgrimage.
Okay.
So there's nothing in there. Are you carrying on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we would sort of like snake around, so they'd all probably pass those doorways as I sort of pass those doorways. So there's no real need for me to relay that information.
Okay.
But then we get to the next set, and the same thing again, left and right.
Is
there anything out of the ordinary?
Yeah. Same again, pretty much exactly the same thing. Okay. As you're walking up to each set of doorways, your sight is just enough, gives you enough sight that you can see yet another doorway. So you've done these. So we did the first set of doorways, but at that point you could see there was a second set of doorways.
And it's the
So
same.
You step up
here.
to that one, same again there, but then you can see that there's a third set of doorways. And assuming that you're going to sort of carry on somewhat, you carry on looking, and I will move your token for you. Yeah. Unless you give me a sense that you want to stop at any point.
No. So I've done third set, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, nothing.
Fourth set.
Fourth set. Now, give me a perception, please.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or an investigate. What is Krill literally just popping his head in at this point, or is he walking still in to have a look around?
He's probably just putting his head in at this point. He probably was in as he's gone further down the corridor. The depth at which he's probably stepping into the room has become less, and he's just peering for anything that looks different to the rooms he's already seen.
Okay, so give me a perception at advantage.
Oh, there's a natural 20 there, so 23 overall.
Okay, as you get to this, what is it, the fourth set, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you get to this fourth set of doorways, you're poking your head in. And you're poking your head into the one on the west side of the corridor. And you see just literally almost just at the very end of your sight. You can see just at the back wall, you can see that there is a hole leading out of the backside of the wall into the mountain, so to speak. It's clearly not another doorway. It's not intended to be there. This is something that has been formed either naturally or someone has dug into the mountain. You don't know what at this point, but it's clearly unintentional.
I gesture for everyone to sort of rally up so we can discuss this discovery.
Okay, so moving everyone up, everyone would have, literally just snaked their way to the top. So everyone moves up to this, and you explain this, and everyone gets a chance to have a look within. What do you wish to do? Do you wish to have a look further, or what are you actually doing?
So from where I'm stood, I can tell that there's more corridor, but the extent of my vision limits how much more I can see. I can see from here that there is at least one more set of archways.
Oh, to the north, you're talking about carrying on?
Yeah, so I can tell there's at least one more.
Yeah, your sight wouldn't tell you much more, but you can definitely see there's another set of doorways. So, that's what you have. Right now, you have a choice of whether you investigate this further or whether you want to carry on up the Khyber Pass.
Quinch says, Urka, there's your... Urka, there's your...
We've not seen Urka for a long time.
She's not with us.
She says, I'm hundreds of feet away. I'm hundreds of feet away. I simply cannot hear you, you brute.
I thought she was at the back.
No, she's not been with you at
That's
all.
Harshnag.
No, I'm sorry. Diesel. Anyway, yeah. So, are you wishing to investigate this further, or what are you wishing to do, or is there anything else you wish to do at this point?
Is anybody else got an input before I just...
Yeet.
I think a light touch investigation everywhere before we more further investigate any one location is my opinion.
Should we
Do
just
you wish to check
zoom-
for ritualistic cave entrances?
No, I'm not sticking anything in this one.
Okay, what are you doing then? Are you going in?
I mean, should we just carry on snaking to what might be the end of this corridor?
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
Can we Benny Hill it? And you just tell us if there's anything different as we work our way up?
Okay. Yeah, okay. So you carry on moving northwards. Do you want to move your token for me?
Yeah.
Krill?
Another set of doorways. Again, I can see that there's another set of doorways. And then...
Okay.
Yeah.
This corridor, the shape of this corridor with the doorways and the things bouncing off it, reminds me of Galactus, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Galactus shaped, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
The way the light bounces at
Yeah.
an angle upwards.
Yeah.
Nice. Lovely.
Yeah.
Krill, you get to this next set of doorways, and same as before, you look in. You can't see anything different. These very much are the same as the earlier rooms that you saw. You can see yet another set of doorways, a further sort of 80 foot ahead of you, which you can go and investigate if you wish to.
Let's do that one again.
As you get to this set of doorways, you suddenly hear to the very north of you. You can't see anything, but you suddenly hear the click of something being released.
Ooh.
And you suddenly hear the sound of something very large rumbling.
Another delicious episode in the can. Thanks for listening. You can find us on social media. Maybe you could share your favourite moments with us. If you have any friends or family that you think would enjoy the antics of the circus, we'd appreciate it if you told them about our podcast. What is this voice? I don't know, but isn't it just so?
If you have any spare change, you can support us financially on Ko-fi. It is of paramount importance that you do so.
Open square bracket. Hi lads, here's the script for the outro I'm planning to record. I don't know how to end it, so let me know if you can think of anything witty to finish it at. Oh.